It's Brown's team. It's one of the more favorite. He's still local. One of the more favorite Alabama quarterbacks of all time. He threw the national championship pass in 2017, and it's another injury. It's the third diagnosed concussion, and I guess I was naive to think it would be just another concussion. But Brown comes in, and I've seen Tony Gonzalez say it in the postgame. Brown, you started talking to me that maybe that was the last play of Tua Tagovailoa's football career.
Oh, I certainly think that's on the table. I mean, he talked about considering retirement the last time this happened. And when he couldn't finish the season and Miami went to the playoffs and Teddy Bridgewater got hurt and Skylar Thompson got Miami to the playoffs and then actually went and played pretty well at Buffalo, Tua talked about considering retirement. He later clarified that his mom had talked a lot about him, and that was kind of what drove that maybe he didn't consider it as much. But I think it's absolutely got to be on the table. As you said, it is the third at Miami, the fourth if you go back to one at Alabama. And there are a lot of people that think he was misdiagnosed on another one in the Buffalo game 2 years ago, where eventually he got knocked out in that Cincinnati game. I don't know how much is too much, but 4 is a lot, man. 4 is a lot when you're considering how you live the rest of your life.
Trying to, and obviously it's so highly policed and guarded now, and safety is like a number one priority. But I'm trying to remember other athletes. Eric Lindros was an incredible player for the Flyers, and it really was concussions that cut his career short. You wonder, even going back to before. You had the high profile of Alabama and Miami, if he had concussions before that. And I want to say this, I want to separate the two. I am not saying Tua is soft at all. He is injury prone, no doubt.
Yeah. In fact, the way he got the concussion was an aggressive run. I mean, it wasn't soft.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, his brain is apparently, I'm looking at it right here. It's like, that's the kind of hit, look, and I know it was a forearm from DeMar Hamlin.
Oddly, right? Isn't that irony?
Yeah, but it really wasn't a forearm. Like,
he's just tackling.
But that's part of the problem. His neck bent.
99 of 100 players get up from that, though.
Yeah, but when you don't is when you've had multiple concussions, and that becomes the problem, is the more you have, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah. Tua is one of these guys that's just got a brain that reacts differently. Look, I'm not a neurologist. Yeah, but I'm talking about even from his first. I mean, you just don't see, there's just not a lot of athletes that have these type of problems over and over again, and it's really unfortunate because Tua just got paid.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly, as Landmine Believer points out, that guy had to step away in the prime of his career.
Yeah, and this would be Tua as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like Lance said, he just became one of the highest paid players in NFL history.
4 years, $212 million. A lot of that guaranteed. That they guaranteed him because he was going out and risking his life and his well-being to play. There used to be a time there was no guarantee money in the NFL, so at least we've gone to that. It's hard to believe that that's what we're talking about today, that maybe that was it for Tua.
I mean, I think you kind of prepare yourself for that.
I am just, the older you get, you start really, you don't take your health for granted anymore.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a gut issue right now that has completely floored me. Like, my body, everything is out of whack just because of my gut. And when you start to lose your mind, and I hate to say it like that, but I know somebody that's going through this, the early stages of dementia right now. And obviously that's going to accelerate something like that. And Tua's got 3 young kids, and Taylor was talking about this before the show. You really do have to take a look at this. I know on the surface, a lot of people were like, come on, man, this guy's making a ton of money.
No.
It was a hit. It was early in the season. But, if you want to be able to brush your teeth, walk up and down the stairs, see your grandkids one day. I mean, these are things that you really have to take a look at, and it's sad that we're even talking about that.
I mean, if somebody is diminishing him considering this, they're just a dummy, and I don't really care. I mean, that's his life. I love people that are like, oh, just shake it off and keep going, and you're sitting in a recliner, 30 pounds overweight watching football, right?
Yep.
I mean, what is, I don't know, man. I think you've got to prepare yourself for the fact that this could be it. This could be it for Tua, and I don't know. It's very, very sad. You don't want to see anybody end a career this way. I don't care if you're a Dolphins fan or a Raiders fan or a Bills fan or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if we see him again this year.
I would be too.
Is it
sucks?
Yeah.
Is it too?
Well, that's what I told my wife. I'm like, you wait. As a Dolphins fan, now I'm just going to talk as a Dolphins fan, not just a football fan. Like, I told my wife this morning, because she just went to bed. She's like, I just went to bed. Because I watch it to the end.
Yeah.
And didn't you know it like immediately before,
100%.
like right with the collision? You're like,
Yeah, 100%.
that's not good.
And then you see what do they call that? The
fencing.
The fencing,
gauge.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I watch all the way to the end because I like to see who plays hard when the game's out of hand.
That's
In
right.
blowouts, I like to see that. I like to see Devin A. Chan still busting his you-know-what when the game's out of hand. I like to see who's standing on the sidelines acting like they feel as bad as I do sitting at home watching when I haven't put in near the work those guys have put in, right? So I watch
Isn't that fencing gauge? Isn't that? I mean, it's you don't even obviously you don't do it.
No, but
it's your body doing it
because you've shut down basically
and
for a minute.
It's so consistent that it's got a name. But everybody does it. When the brain happens. It's
so I
crazy.
watched to the end, right? So my wife was like, "I knew you were going to watch to the end." I just went on to bed. I was just telling her this morning, first of all, Tua's health is the primary concern. And I know people would not think that because I'm a Dolphins fan, but I'm not such a crazy football fan that I want somebody
Well,
to
you're going to be a Dolphin. If Tua would have played 15 years and won 5 Super Bowls, you're still going to be a Dolphins fan on the backside of Tua.
Yeah, and I just told my wife this morning, I'm like, you wait all season, you wait all summer for it to get here. And I'm like, this is the one sports team I have any passion about whatsoever. I watch college football all day. I want to see our state teams do well, but if they lose, I'm fine. Well, I hate to see it, but it's not like it doesn't kill me. I go on to the next game. The one team I care anything about is the Miami Dolphins. And you wait all season long for these games to get here, and you have hope. Like I had hope this year. I thought we could be a pretty good team.
Yeah. Oh, you got all the pieces.
And then one game, you play one game, and you are so fortunate to win that game. And then 2 games into the season, like I told Jennifer this morning, I think our quarterback's his career's probably over. I feel really confident his season's over. And now I've got 15 games of Skylar Thompson. And I'm like, so people would say, well, just don't watch. Well, that's not an option for me. I'm still going to – I've waited all summer for this. I'm not just not going to watch.
Yeah, that is not an option.
No, it's not an option.
Rocky went with me to Tennessee to see Keith Knoll start for the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them all. And I went through a decade of no postseason, and it's just the way it is. But it sucks once you start to you see a guy like Chris Greer build this team.
Yep.
And you've got all the offensive pieces, and even they start throwing the defensive pieces in, and you've gone to the postseason back-to-back years. And if Tua could stay healthy, this was going to be that breakout year for a lot of Dolphins fans.
I would tell you, and I got a big thought coming up after this, after we tell you about my bookie and Woodhouse, but sometimes you get surprised by that backup quarterback.
He's gotten better.
They can piece it together.
He's gotten better.
He is not a guy that's going to win you 7 or 8 games.
Or maybe you bring in a free agent.
Well,
that's somebody out there. And I know Greg from Pell City, I don't think he's totally joking, but the guy sucks as a broadcaster, and I know he's 100 years old, but untouchable Tom Brady could get back there and probably do a lot for this team. Would you be interested in that at all?
I mean, he's got to sell his stake in the Raiders to do that, right? I mean, why would he do that?
Way too many hoops to jump. I mean, for him to be able to do what he's doing right now, like I can't believe we never really got into this. What he has to give up on the Fox side to have partial ownership with the Raiders.
Yeah.
If I was Fox, I would have been like, there is not a chance, especially after watching him call a game.
Well, he just can't go to the practices. He can't go to the pre-interviews.
Can't have any access to any coach.
Basically, he does what every lazy announcer does. He shows up for the game.
That's right. That's right. And he's the GOAT at football. He probably wouldn't be great. He wasn't as good in Tampa as he was in New England, but he led Tampa to a Super Bowl. And I'm here to tell you, your parts are better offensively than my parts were.
Yeah.
That defense led them. They just needed somebody to be okay on offense.
So to answer your question, I mean, the idea of Tom Brady, that's great. The suggestion that got a lot of steam overnight is actually maybe trade your Rams for Jimmy Garoppolo simply because of his familiarity with that system. It's not like he's a great quarterback.
What would you give up? Would you be comfortable giving up a first round?
I mean, he's a backup quarterback that the Rams aren't going to play. No, I'm not giving up our first round. The Rams gave us Jalen Ramsey for what, a 3rd round draft pick?
Yeah.
By the way, he's lost his game.
And by the way, Les Snead is one of those guys that it seems like pieces he trades away, the general manager for the Rams, they don't get a lot in return. Jimmy Garoppolo really is on this roster. Look, and I think you can win games with Garoppolo. I really do. But Garoppolo served, 2-game suspension. So after this game, he will be back ready to play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm the Dolphins, I'd take a look at it. I don't know what the Rams would take.
What would you take? I mean, I know this is not the official negotiation.
It's a backup quarterback. I mean, you gave us Jalen Ramsey for nothing.
Would you take a 3?
Yeah, I think they would do a 3rd round pick for us.
Would you give a 3?
I
I mean,
save the
again, I don't know
season?
how to value these things,
yeah,
but sure.
I think you would.
I mean, you've got all the parts. He knows the system. That's why everybody says Garoppolo, because he's familiar with McDaniel and that system.
I just saw Mac Jones. Mac Jones was tremendous in the preseason.
So Mac replaces Tua again? Is that what
I
we're
know
gonna
that
do?
sounds crazy,
No, I mean-
but and I don't know if Jacksonville would be willing to do it.
Oh, I
they
think anybody's willing to trade for a
Jacksonville
backup.
just played Miami. I mean, they're. I think that makes more sense than Garoppolo. I don't know. I think both of them make sense if you're able to pull it off.
And dude, you got a little extra time here. I mean,
Oh, yeah, you got a long week if you did it.
I would do whatever I would have to do to save a season.
I would too.
In
It's way too early.
worst case scenario, you end up with a much better backup than you have, right? So let's say it's a miracle and Tua comes back. Well, now I got Garoppolo or Mac Jones as a backup.
Yeah. But you're gonna-
I feel better about that than Skylar Thompson.
I mean, you're just going to need it with Tua, even if he comes back.
There's no doubt. That's the thing. Is there's no franchise in the NFL that needs to be better at backup than Miami.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to say when Bridgewater was the backup. He was a capable backup.
Yeah.
When Brissett was the backup, when Fitzpatrick became the backup, when Tua started, you were in a pretty good situation in those times.